pre-roll. You ready? And it's on me. Is it on me? It's on me. This podcast is brought to you by Bud Light Seltzer. Your new flavors are here. Keep listening for more.
Hey everybody, how you doing? And welcome to another wonderful episode, if I can talk this week, of the Bill
Bert
Podcast. What's going on, dude?
I love that they make cigar clippers that have a back for the savages that don't know how to cut a cigar.
Let me see that.
It's got like a wall in the back, so you can't go too deep because you're just supposed to cut the tip, the little nipple off, and some fucking idiots go, dude. Talk about fucking idiots. One of the guys on my tour, my cameraman, I caught him one time. He goes, "Oh, I don't want the whole cigar. I'm just gonna break it in half." I'm like, "What the?"
Wait, how's he gonna do it? Break it in half where?
He's like, "I'll just take the cutter and then cut it in half." And I went, "No, that's not how that works. I said, just smoke half the cigar." And he goes, "Why don't I waste it?" And I went, "No, you're wasting it if you cut it in half. Then you've wasted it. You've wasted a cigar."
Yeah, and then save it, and then when you want a half a cigar later, just buy him a nub.
I'm going to start getting nubs because he's gone through good cigars and been like, "Why don't we just split this?" And it's not a Subway sandwich. This isn't Jersey Mike's. It's a fucking cigar.
That is a thing that you learn early on when in your cigar smoking. That if you show up to a party, and people find out you got some smokes, the amount of fucking casual smokers that are going to show up, say that, and I look at them, I go, "Do you smoke cigars?" And they always say, "Yeah," and then they slobber all over. "Bert, where did you go, man? I'm reliving my childhood, Dad."
You like my pants?
I like the hat too, dude. You're looking very chilled. You look good.
I'm so happy to be home. You have no fucking idea.
It's written all over your face, dude. You look great. So, you get to a party and then all these guys show up. Because I think everybody on some level likes the idea of smoking a cigar until they do it, right? So then like half your box, you look in the ashtray and they're just like a third done. One's like all chewed on and slobbered on. That might be like a guy who's trying to cut down, though. I've never understood those guys. Who just want to walk around and have it in their mouth and they suck on it like a pacifier.
You know who I don't understand? I don't understand people that go, "Ooh, I love cigars. Let me take a hit of your cigar." I'm like, no. This is like a woman. I can't share this with you. I can't give you my cigar. You suck on it for a little bit and then pass it back. I'd rather share a dick with you in prison than a cigar.
All right, you went big air there, but I know what you're trying to say.
Man, you sent me on a fucking internet like spiderweb downward spiral of shit I'd want to buy.
Oh, the hashtag guy. If I wasn't married, I got some stories, dude. I had a surprise reaction from my lovely wife.
Really?
Well, I showed her that RV, and I said, "Listen," I have to confess something. I put a bid on this thing for $8,000. She goes, "You what?" I go, "Yeah, I put a bid in," and I just kept making this face like, "I put a bid in on it." So she goes, "Where are we gonna keep it?" I go, "There's a garage. This garage is out in Pasadena. There's stuff in the valley. I could take you out to what's that fucking park everybody always wants to go out to? Joshua Tree.
Joshua Tree, yeah.
I can take you out to Joshua Tree and all of that stuff." She goes, "Well, how much is that going to cost to fix it? It's a piece of junk." I go, "No, but the body's straight. It looks so good." Dude, I didn't put a bid on it because I just wanted to watch her lose her shit. And then she just sort of caved and was like, it was okay. So now I don't know what to do. Because now I'm just sitting there going like, I don't need a 26-foot truck that I have to deal with in my life. Do I have to get a special license to drive that? They don't just let you drive that down the street. 26 feet, texting while driving, just coming down.
It is the actual car from Stripes. It is the actual one.
Yeah. So, and she woke up this morning and she goes, "Can we look up new RVs?" because she doesn't think I bought it yet. I haven't even put in a thing for it, but it's just like, I don't know, dude. I just look at that. That's something I could do to put like a down payment on something in aviation. Because that's what I want to do. Because I'll tell you, Friday and Saturday, the first time in 2.5 years, I had the time with the pandemic to do enough training to solo. And I soloed both days. And I got to tell you, man, I've never been so relaxed. I never had so much fun. I never had so much confidence. I went to uncontrolled airports, controlled airports, did pad work, was practicing all this stuff, you know, everything short of like auto rotations, which, you know, you got to get to a certain level. I almost think you need some sort of certification to just do one of those on your own. Yeah. I mean, I guess you could, but to practice, but like my instructor just said, a lot of things can happen when even if you're simulating one of those. So don't do those. But I'm like, all right. So, but I had this two amazing flights, and you know, things came up during the flight. I was able to handle them, you know, radio stuff, traffic, and that type of stuff. Yeah. And I knew what to do. There was one thing that this guy said at Burbank, and I just, you know, you got to have no ego. I just went by. I was like, Burbank Tower. I don't know what that means. He goes, that means I see you at the what is it, the 170 and the 5 or something like that. Because he just said a bunch of numbers, and I was like, what is that, some military frequency? What the hell was that? He was just saying that because he had me ident, which means you just flash on their radar so they can watch you. And he was talking the two highways. What was it? It's the 5 and the 118 or something like that. I forget what it was. So I know the other pilots were laughing, but also they're saying, well, that's what you're supposed to do.
Is just go, I don't know what the fuck you're saying.
Yeah, I don't know what that means.
Yeah, my ego would get in the way. I'm certain my ego would get in the way of my safety.
No, well, that's the great thing about being self-deprecating. I've always enjoyed being self-deprecating. It shortens the trashing when you agree with it. You bald orange motherfucker. Yeah, fucking, I'm a mess. I brush my teeth with my head down, and then it's over. If you go, well, what about your shirt? Yeah, it is. At least it isn't my face. It just keeps going.
Yeah.
You just own up to your bullshit. Yeah, I'm a fat fuck. I mean, yeah. I like Oreo cookies. What can I say?
Maybe I would be good at that, at being like, yeah, I don't know what you're saying, because if I don't know what a word means. I had a friend, Maurice Golson. His name we called him Weecho. And the one thing I learned from him growing up is
that put into the story, or do you just want to let us know that?
Just throw it in.
I love that detail.
I love it. I loved his nickname, Weecho. It's such a great fucking nickname.
All right.
And so his English wasn't his first language. He's fluent in English, but it was like, if you said a word that he didn't know, he'd always just go, I don't know what that word means. And then I remember I wasn't that way, and I was like, why do you do that? And he goes, why would I pretend to know what a word means when I don't know what they're saying? I do that all the time. I do that in books. I'll read a book and not know what the word means, and I'll just go, it means something smart about empathy, I guess.
No, saying I don't know is a good thing.
Yeah,
definitely is a good thing. So I tried. Oh, dude, I got a crazy story, man. I tried to do a show down at I'm not gonna say where it was, because who knows who's right and who's wrong or whatever. It was down along the coast here in California.
Yeah.
And I went down there, dude, and when I tell you I showed up and it was jam-packed with people, nobody wearing masks, and I swear to God I saw a baby. I swear to God there was a baby. I can't confirm it. I just saw it because it was too much to take in.
Yeah.
It was like I stepped it back in a time machine to January. And I showed up and all the comics were wearing masks. I was just like, dude, and I was peeking over the fence. I was like, what the fuck is going on out there? They go, yeah, dude, this is a different world down here. So the lady, the club owner, sweetheart of a person, comes out offering food. She's talking to me. She doesn't have a mask on. And she's like talking like right here. And it's like, I got the baby. I'm traveling soon. I just got tested that day because I have to do my tour, and I got to make sure I don't have it. I don't want to give it to pilots. I don't want to give it to anybody. So I'm like, whoa, whoa, whoa. I'm like, where's your mask? And she's like, are you from LA? And I knew she was going to do that. I go, no, I'm from Massachusetts. She's like, you came all the way out here from Massachusetts to do this? And I go, no, you asked me where I'm from. I live in LA, but I'm from Massachusetts. She goes, all right. She goes, I'll put a mask on. I go, thank you. I got a kid. So she comes back out. She has a mask on. And every time she goes to talk, she pulls it down, going like, no, it's very safe out here. You don't understand. We're at the beach. We have a breeze down here. And she puts it up. And I go, ma'am, I can hear you through your mask. And when she said the breeze thing, was just like, oh, you guys are just making up shit down here so you can just continue to live your life. The funniest thing too, dude, you could still smell the smoke from the fires out here. Yeah. And I saw this giant bonfire on the beach these people were having. It's like, it's not enough that God lit one with lightning. There's a whole mountain on fire. That's not enough for you? But I need my own fire. And I left there, and I could tell you without a doubt, if I went to Vegas and if there's a line on Trump and Biden, I'd take all my chips. I'm pushing it in on Trump.
Oh God, yes. I flew yesterday. I flew back from Atlanta to LA. It's the first time I've been in the airports, and yeah, everyone had masks on. No, even on the plane, everyone kept their mask on the plane. But yeah, I mean, I went to the Crown Room, to like the Delta Crown Room, and people, they were socially distant, and people had their mask off at their table, like eating or drinking. I got a cocktail, and I had mask up here. I'd lower it, take a sip, put it back up, and then just burp whiskey into my nose. So disgusting. just hotboxing whiskey.
Yeah, But the level of respect you have for your fellow man, because my big thing is like, look, I'm not a scientist either, so I listen to what the CDC says, and just my thing is like, if I'm wrong, worst case scenario, you breathe your own breath,
yeah,
which isn't healthy. But who's kidding who? We're also smoking cigars. People eat fried food and fucking ice cream, so it's not like we're all a bunch of health nuts. But if I go the other way and I'm wrong, somebody's grandparents could die, like small businesses go out of business, corporations stay in business, and then it all becomes one giant Walmart. So I don't know, but whatever. I mean, that's how they lived. I respect that. That's how they did it. The lady was a sweetheart down there. I really liked her. I really appreciated y'all for the food, but I didn't do the show. I was just like, I'm out of here. I don't want to be a part of this. I respect this is what you guys want to do. You guys think you're right. I don't think you're right. I don't want to do this. I think you're wrong. Lab coat out there.
It's interesting too. I'm not the fucking greatest person, but because of the pandemic and because of people losing their jobs, and I've been weird about spending money because I was gonna fly private home. I was gonna spend the money because I'd been doing a TV show. I'd earn money. I was gonna fly private home, and I just could not bring myself to fucking buy the ticket.
Too much fucking money.
I couldn't. It was $30,000, and I thought, that's such a tremendous waste of money. I was like, I'm in my head. I'm like, that's such a. I'm not to shit on people flying private. I understand. I have a lot of friends that do it exclusively. I get it. If you can spend the money and you're making the money, that's great. But I just thought it was such a let them eat cake kind of way.
I don't know what that means.
Maria, I think it was Marie Antoinette. They said the paupers in the street don't have any meat to eat. She goes, well, then just let them eat cake. Like, she was just so disconnected from like how poor people were. Why wouldn't? Well, if they don't have meat, just have the dessert then. And they were like, they definitely don't have cake either, Marie. And so, by the way,
if you don't have meat, I don't think you're sitting there.
Yeah.
Turning on the KitchenAid there.
But I just thought, I literally thought to myself that what a silly waste of money to fucking, I couldn't do it. I really genuinely couldn't do it. And I wanted to, I really wanted to. And I had been working for 47 days straight. I felt like it was my treat to myself. And at the last minute, I was like, I'll just fly commercial. I was like, it's got to be safe. It's got to be safe.
Atlanta to LA, it's 4 hours.
I had my mask on the whole time.
Yeah,
I wiped down the whole area. I limited my drinking because I didn't want to be like zero contact. Meaning I poured it in a thermos. I just brought little bottles and get beers from the guy. So, but it's just so weird. It's so weird to go through. This is. I know. Obviously, I don't want this to sound virtue signaling, but like to look at the guys doing TSA, and I wanted to say thank you. I wanted to be like, hey man, you're like a necessary worker for us. Like,
isn't it funny that virtue signalers have ruined just common politeness?
Yeah. That you
I always feel like if you thank somebody in the military, it just comes off like fucking like trite. Like it doesn't mean thank you for your service. It's just like you're just saying like a catchphrase almost at this point. There's nothing wrong with that. I will say though that during this pandemic, I'm bringing my family back east for this run, so I am going to fly private on that just because I have a baby.
You have a baby. That makes total sense.
But I then added like a bunch of shows to pay because I was going to have the time off, the nights off to be with my family. But instead I booked more shows to pay for. It is such a colossal. I still don't see because my agent's just like, well, we'll book you more dates and that'll pay for the plane. And then like yada, yada, yada. It's like, yeah. And then I'm blowing out my voice more. I'm not spending time with my family. It's just like that's another reason. Just wear a mask, do what they say, just try to contain it as much as you can as these brilliant people are working on a vaccine. And then I can go back to flying commercial because I love flying commercial. I like being in a bigger plane. I like being in a bigger plane.
Bill.
I like seeing people. And if you get bits, you get ideas. And I actually, I'm not a big fan of huge airports, but I love airports. I kind of I like flying commercial. I feel like it's the difference between riding in like a hatchback or being in a Cadillac.
Yeah.
And I fly first class. But what the fuck more do you want? Nice big seat. I get a nice little meal. I meet people. Dude, one time I flew first class. I sat next to Frankie Valli. I couldn't believe it. And the fucking guy was like in such great shape. He was in incredible shape, dude. Like 0% body fat. And dude, when I tell you the flight was over, the way this guy, boom, got up out of the chair. I'm like, this guy's in his 80s. It was really like inspiring as a performer. Going like, I want to be like this guy when I'm 80.
Mine's Ricky
Still crushing it, selling tickets, still flying first class. And still, when the flight's over, boom, I'm right up.
Ricky Springfield.
Nice.
I had him on. I had a season where we must have been on tour in the same cities every week. I saw him on every one of my flights to the point where I became friends with his tour manager. Like I ran into his tour manager a couple times at the bar. I don't think Rick Springfield drinks. But I got to the point where I started seeing him and I'd like nod to him like, you again, huh? And I just wanted to get to the point where I could say that line from Boogie Nights when Jesse's girl comes on, Ricky Springfield, he's a friend of mine. Yeah, it's interesting. It's interesting. It's so funny. I have a hard time, like people, the big thing, when we ended the show, the big thing people were doing was they were getting Black Lives Matter signs, and then they were taking pictures with us with the Black Lives Matter signs. It was weird because I definitely support Black Lives Matters. No,
but there's a thing where they're just jumping in and then they're bringing you into, they're using you.
Yeah, and I was like, I felt odd because there are certain signs. I felt there are definitely signs I would not want to be in front of, and I feel like I should just do that, but I didn't do it. It was a weird, like, this sounds so silly, but it wasn't a bullying thing, but it's the same way I felt like on the day that you had blacked out Twitter or Instagram and people were attacking you if you hadn't blacked yours out, or if you were like me and you.
Why do you read comments?
If
you don't read the comments, you don't know what they're saying. That's the secret.
I disabled my comments on that day, and because I didn't want to read them, and I didn't want to.
Ooh, I don't know. I wouldn't have done that. That's a little more hostile.
That was a big
That's
mistake.
like Trump turning the lights out, going down to the basement.
That's a big mistake, Bill. I found out the hard way.
Yeah.
Your silence is deafening. It's such a weird
You
thing.
could have said your sayings are cliche.
It's such a weird thing because I don't know. There's a bunch of pictures of me. There's the best one is like me and I think Snoop and a bunch of all the black people on set. And they're like, Bert, get in this picture. And I was like, hey man, I don't think you want me in your picture. I've told too many jokes in the past.
That's hilarious.
Snoop's like, get in. I go, just so you know, this is the sign they're going to use when I say something inappropriate about black people. And they're like, well, then we want to be in the picture. Get in the picture. Yeah. It's so fucking good to be home. My energy is different. Like I had a great got my pool, I met my new dog last night. That was fucking awesome. The dog didn't know me.
Can you show the people? Is your dog still there?
Let me see. Mac. My whistling's off. Mac.
You dried out your mouth with that smoke.
Yeah. He'll be back here in a second. I'll bring him in. My daughter's picked me up at the airport last night. My daughter's got her own car. She's driving. It's like a fucking different. Wow. It's a different world. It's a different fucking world.
You know, my dog was back in town. Yeah, it's
Really?
still technically it's my dog. I just pay for the trainer to have it, so it lives out the rest of its life. It's a long story. It's a long story. I took rescuing to a whole other level.
You had a joke about that was so great about. I'm gonna do your joke back to you. Yeah, rescuing a dog seems like a great idea until one day you're making toast and find out the dog was beaten with a toaster. And he's like,
yeah.
What was the bit?
I probably would have said when you're making breakfast and then you realize your dog was beaten by a toaster. That way, if you don't say toaster twice.
Yeah.
Because then I don't know why it just ruins it.
It's crazy that the little rules of
comedy. I'm just doing that for anybody out there who's just starting to write jokes. I don't know what that is. But it's almost like you opened the crack so they could peek in to see the punchline coming. Yeah.
You gave too much of your magic trick away, like where they see it and they're like, it didn't work that time. I wrote a great new bit about smoking.
That was that Jackie the Joke Man bit.
What's that?
Jackie the Joke Man, he told that story about the lion. He goes, one time he goes, there was a lion. I'm going to butcher this. He goes, there was a lion in... He was taking a drink of water, right? And he bent over to take a drink of water, and his tail came up, king of the beasts, drinking the water. And all of a sudden, a gorilla ran up behind him, and he goes and he gives him the old Liberace. One stroke and takes off. And the lion's like, what the fuck? And starts chasing the lion. So chasing the gorilla. So the gorilla's running and he's running and he's running. And he comes to this campsite and he looks into the tent. There's nobody in there. So he runs in, he picks up a hat, he puts it on, and he picks up the New York Times. He starts reading it. The lion's sniffing. He comes right up to the tent. Opens it up and he looks and he sees what he sees. He goes, hey, buddy. He goes, did you see a gorilla come and run by here? And the gorilla goes, oh, you mean that one that just fucked that lion in the ass? And then the lion goes, it's already in the papers? I know I butchered it.
No.
But Jackie the Joke Man talked about how he told the joke. He goes, I had to say he picked up the New York Times.
Yes.
Because I said if he picked up the paper... I would have said that again, and that's also why he said gave him the old Liberace, because if he said fuck the lion in the ass, that's also in the punchline. And I butchered it because I said he looked in and he asked the gorilla. That's why I had to say, hey, buddy, because I fucked that part up. I stink at telling street jokes, as you can tell.
Can I tell you that just made me so happy because I have heard that joke before, but I forgot it. And it gave me the old Liberace, and I went, I know this joke. I love this joke. But I couldn't remember what I loved about it.
Because I told it to you. That's Jackie the Joke Man's way of telling it. He was on Gilbert Gottfried's podcast. And, dude, he was just one after the other. And then Gilbert was matching them. If you can ever find that episode, dude, we were in Canada, me, Bartnick, and Verzi. And we were just dying laughing. It just street jokes. They're the best, man. There's no fat on them unless I tell one. Then I add all these extra words that don't need to be there.
That's amazing. I tried in my last special to write a joke. Like I wanted to write a joke, but I did it my own way, Mm-hmm. Instead of a guy walks into a bar, it was based on Norm Macdonald. I walked into a coffee shop. I walked into Starbucks. And I did it in sets of threes, and then the punchline wasn't the punchline you thought it was going to be. But I would love to be able to write a joke like that. Like, it's in the papers? Like,
dude, who writes them? Because I know, like, back in the day, I used to work in this warehouse. I used to do the second shift. I forget what time. It was like from 5 to midnight or whatever the hell it was. Or 4 to midnight, I think it was. And there was a guy there going through a divorce, so he had a second job.
Yeah.
To help pay for wherever he was living now. And he used to have all these street jokes. I was like, where do you hear these? He goes, salesman. He was always on these sales calls. I call these guys down in New York, you know, talking to the salesmen, and they just knew these jokes. And then they were the guys, I don't know who wrote them, but the guys who used back in the day before, you know, everybody had a laptop and the computers and all of that shit, how the jokes went around was salesmen calling each other and just, you know, just sort of breaking the ice when they call each other, you know, getting to know each other. You know, two guys walking to a bar, blah, 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 and all that shit.
It's interesting because don't stop me. Just let me finish what I'm about to say. You're one of the best comics I know, with hands down. But do you think you could write a joke to put in your act that people, different than like the way your brain thinks? Can you think you could write lines taken? Like how would you? You'd have to.
If I ever tried that, I think it would take me. It would be just like when I first sat down to write material. Do you remember the first time you were going to do an open mic and you're like, all right, I'm going to sit down and write something. And I just remember staring at the paper like, I've been funny my whole life. I've made people, but I was always on the fly. How do I do this? I would probably be that. And then from there, I would see if I could do it. I don't think I could, but I actually think a lot of street jokes came out of like racism, homophobia, anti-Semitism, religious stuff. I think back in the day with all the different ethnicities, they would just say, hey, how many Polacks does it take to screw in a light bulb? 2, one guy to hold on, the other guy to turn him around. And then then people would steal the jokes. How many Italians? And it was the same thing. And then I just think people kept building on those because those probably weren't funny anymore. Because if you think of like a lot of the classic street jokes, a lot of them are shitting on a religion. You know, 2 priests and a rabbi goes in, and it's like, all right, there's going to be something either shitting on the priests or shitting on being Jewish. Like you kind of know where that comes from. So I think a lot of that went from that, and then I don't know. Then there's a lot of them with like animals in them. I remember Buddy Hackett told some fucking story about, I forget this guy, instead of having a dick, he had an elephant trunk. And there was something about he went over his girlfriend's house to have dinner, and then all of a sudden the trunk came out. When they were passing the food around, the trunk came out, just grabbed some food and went under the table. The girlfriend's mother was like, can you do that again? And the guy was like, yeah, I would, but I don't think I can fit another potato up my ass or something stupid like that. But I think that if they then became, they were also like sex. It was like racism, anti-religion, homophobia, and animal stuff. I think they all kind of came out of that. And then there was sort of probably like the formulas, you know, 2 priests and a rabbi. Then that becomes two straight guys and a gay guy. You know, it's probably not how they worded it back in the day, but I just think that it just kind of, you know, 2 white guys and a black guy. You know, so
the joke has to stem from, if you work backwards, it has to stem from someone reading a paper, someone asking someone something, and he goes, "Oh, you mean that?" And he goes, "Is that in the paper?" And then they laugh to each other, and then that guy said, "All right, the punchline is it's already in the papers. That's the punchline." And then they work
it's like
backwards.
a script. You have to know how it's going to end, and then you got to know what you're writing towards. So, and then all you have to do is you just have to disguise it so they don't see it coming. But I just think the jokes got more and more sophisticated, and then over the years, with racism, homophobia, and all that stuff being frowned upon by mainstream media, and you can get in trouble and all that type of stuff, I feel like racism and all that shit just went underground. I think it got a little bit better, but I don't think, when you see that shit, all that horrible stuff in World War II, which essentially was a race war, both in the Pacific and in Europe, right?
Yeah.
If you see the shit that people were doing to people, like you can't believe that human beings could do that to other human beings. And just watching now with how, just how hostile it is, you just like, it really didn't go away as much as it's sort of like a dormant volcano. Like it hasn't erupted or it's still an alive volcano, just hasn't erupted in 80 years. It's really,
Norm Macdonald was good at jokes like that.
And actually by me saying that is bad. Because I say it hasn't erupted in 80 years because I'm just counting white people doing shit to other white people. When I'm sure people in the Middle East would be like, oh no, that thing's burning pretty good there, buddy.
Yeah. Hotel Rwanda.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's I love good street jokes. I love good I would probably I wonder if
I got another one Jackie told, and I can never tell it right. I can never tell it funny.
What is it?
I never do it right. All right, guy goes into a job interview. The interviewer says, in the interview, he goes, so tell me, he goes, what would you say is your biggest weakness? The guy's like, my biggest weakness? Oh, geez, I don't know. I guess I have to say it's my honesty. The guy goes, your honesty? Well, I don't think you're being honest. It's going to be a problem around here. The guy goes, hey, buddy, I don't give a fuck what you think. He does it so much better.
I don't give a fuck what you think.
He does it so, because when he does it, he yells it. He goes, hey, buddy, I don't give a fuck what you think.
Yeah.
I don't know. I suck at telling. It's hilarious. I'm a comedian, but I'm not good at telling street jokes.
Yeah, it's weird that street jokes kind of just aren't. I would love to. I wonder who the comic was that shifted, because Buddy Hackett was a street joke guy, right? Vaudeville.
Oh my God, that guy had a black belt in telling street jokes. He was unbelievable. That was the whole thing, where people used to try to go to the Tonight Show, and you'd pray that he was the guest, because it wasn't even it was when they went to commercial. He would just start telling street jokes,
Buddy
all
Hackett.
of that stuff. Like, I guess he told that aristocrat joke, which, they always act like that's the joke comedians telling Green Room. I had never heard of that joke till the documentary came out. But when they used to go to commercial, if you see any, people watching this, you should know who Buddy Hackett is. But look up Buddy Hackett, Johnny Carson commercial break. And at the very least, you'll find a clip of them coming back and Johnny Carson like crying, laughing, the band going nuts, the crowd going crazy. And you would start laughing just thinking about what you missed.
Yeah.
But, going back to that joke, I don't give a fuck what you think, is basically like, that's one of those things where you have, if that's somewhere that came along, hey, be honest with me. Hey, go fuck yourself. And then you think, oh, that's like a good joke. So somebody says, be honest. And so you have sort of that, like, I don't know, like the building blocks of that. And then you just have to have the misdirection right before the punch, and then the whole setup.
Buddy Hackett was on Jay Moore's Action TV show. And Barry Katz was the manager.
Yeah,
my
Peter
manager.
Dragon.
And yeah,
that was a great show.
And Barry said, hey, man, why don't you come down to the set and, you can see them taping. I just moved to L.A. And I was with 4 girls. One of them was not attractive. And she was like, I think she was probably a lesbian, but she had a short haircut, a little overweight, not the most attractive, but 3 other girls, right? And this girl. So we come in, Buddy Hackett's drinking out of his flask, and he says,
she could have been just straight and fat and just not good at taking care of herself.
Whatever.
I'm just trying to cover your ass here. Okay, go ahead.
I'm just telling you, I don't remember she was friends of someone's friend.
All right.
And so Buddy Hackett's sipping on a flask, and he looks at that girl, and he says, hey, buddy, all these girls here with you? And she goes, I'm a girl. And he goes, oh. And then he looks at me and he goes, are you a chick too?
Oh, he had the tag. Wow.
And I had a fucking goatee, and I was like, no, I'm a man. And he goes, huh. I was fucking, okay. And he just kept talking. It was.
But he did all of that for the joke.
He did it all probably.
All for the joke, so he probably thought you didn't get it.
Yeah. Oh, I was crying laughing. He was. I met him a couple times. He was really funny as shit.
You met him? Wow. Do you ever see It's a Mad World?
Yeah.
I watch that once a year because it's so good. I don't want to just burn it out. He is so fucking great. Everybody. The level of comedy. Who's that fucking guy who's in it? He actually died young. When he's like, I'm gonna. He's screaming as he's driving the car. I'm gonna kick the shit out of it. He's so fucking funny. That movie's so funny. Even Keith Robinson likes it.
Even Keith Robinson likes it. What was the joke Buddy Hackett had about? Guy shooting a duck. Shoots a duck and it lands on this farmer's yard. Goes up and the farmer's got his shotgun out. Guy goes, that's my duck. And the farmer says, it's in my yard. And he goes, so it's my duck. And he goes, no, it's my duck. And he goes, all right. Farmer says, how about this? We'll kick each other in the dick until someone taps out. And that's how we'll decide whose duck it is. And the guy goes, oh, it's your duck. I fucking butchered that.
I know. It's like we're comedians. I butchered everyone that I can't. You know what it is? I can't remember them.
Yeah.
I can't remember how they go.
I would love to have a like. They have to have.
I got one. I remember one.
Yeah.
All right, a guy goes down to the bus stop, and he sees this woman. You know, she's just like she looks like she's really far along, right? It's really poking out and everything. So he comes up. He goes, "Hey," so when's it due? And she goes, "I'm not pregnant, you asshole." And he goes, I wasn't talking about you. I was talking about the bus, you fat cunt.
Have I told you the Norm Macdonald joke?
What's his face told me? Ben Bailey told me that one. He, of course, tells. I want to tell everybody who told it to me and tells it better.
Ben Bailey, I can hear Ben Bailey telling that good.
Ben Bailey tells a great street. DC Benny tells a great street joke. Both of those guys tell great street jokes.
Did I ever? I'm sure I did. Did I ever tell you Norm Macdonald's joke about the dog, the professor of logic?
Mm-mm.
This is my favorite joke. This might be my favorite joke, and I've told this other places. I'm gonna clean it up a little bit because I don't want to make Norm sound bad, but Norm is in his apartment building or whatever, and he meets his neighbor, meets a new neighbor, right?
Mm-hmm.
And the new neighbor says, "Hey Norm, how you doing?" He said, "Good." He said, Norm says, "Welcome to the neighborhood." And the guy goes, "Oh, thanks." Norm says, "What do you do?" He says, "Norm, I'm a professor of logic down at the university."
Oh, I know this joke. Go ahead. Go ahead. Tell it. I love this joke.
I love this joke. And Norm goes, "Professor of logic. Huh, what do you do?" And he goes, "Well, Norm, it's kind of hard for me to explain it. It's a little easier for me to show." And he goes, "All right." And he goes, "Norm, do you have a dog house?" And he goes, I do. He goes, "And logically, I can assume you have a dog?" And he goes, "I do." And he goes, "And if you have a dog, I'm logically guessing you probably got kids." And he goes, I do have kids, a son." He goes, "And if you have a son, then logically I can assume that you're married?" And he goes, "Yes." And he goes, "Then logically I can assume that if you have a dog house, you're a straight white male." And Norm goes, "I am." And he goes, "That's what I do, Norm." And he goes, "Interesting." So Norm goes down to the bus stop and sees another neighbor. And he says, "Hey, Norm, how you doing?" He goes, "Good." He goes, "You meet our new neighbor?" He goes, "I did." And he goes, "What's he do?" Norm says, "He's a professor of logic down at the university." Guy goes, "What's that?" Norm says, "Well, it's easier if I just show you what it is and if I explain it to you." And he goes, "Okay." Norm goes, "Friend, do you have a dog house?" He goes, "I don't." Norm goes, "Well, then you're a homosexual."
I just love how long that setup is.
I love it. Yeah, right.
He gets a little laugh when he goes, "Well, it's easy for me to show you than it is to tell you." He gets a laugh for the little call back there, but just Now, Norm Macdonald is so brutally underrated still. All right, it's Bud Light Seltzer. Your new favorite flavors are here. First of all, let's talk about the brand. There's 3 great new flavors available in new Remix VP to try starting this September, which means right now. They got grapefruit, pineapple, and cranberry. Refreshing seltzer. Cape Cod, dude. What a great way to end the summer. Refreshing seltzers with natural ingredients and no artificial flavors. Only 100 calories with 1 gram of sugar. So you can get hammered and keep your flat stomach. 5-step filtration process for quality taste and clean finish. Has familiar Bud Light easy drinking name for those looking for an approachable brand to try their first hard seltzer made with real cane sugar. That's the good stuff. For a higher quality taste, perfect for sipping this fall while watching the much anticipated return of football or on crisp nights by a bonfire.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that sounds great. How to try it. To get it delivered right to your door, you barely even have to leave the couch. Find a retailer near you at budlight.com/Bill Bert.
Oh, they are so freaking good. My bookie. I love Mondays and Sundays. You know why? 2 words, NFL action. I love Sundays almost as much as Brady used to love Sundays in New England, but now he's in Tampa.
Oh.
Now he's in Tampa, and he's got only one thing to be excited about. That's Florida sunshine.
Oh, I feel like that was written directly at me. Whoever wrote that.
I think they planned on you reading this, Bill.
Mission accomplished.
I'll tell you what, though. My bookie's got this whole online betting thing figured out. You sign up, you make a deposit, and they will match you dollar for dollar so you can get some extra cash to play with. Plus, they've got all kinds of cash prizes, contests, and free bets. Tuned in late, didn't place your bet on time? Don't even sweat it because they'll let you bet on the games live so you can analyze the game and then make your picks. If nothing else, you got to check out the website because they've got a $100,000 super contest, and it runs the entire NFL season. Pick 5 games against the spread each week, score the most points by the end of the season, and you will walk away with $25,000. But that's not it. Every 4 weeks, the player with the top score wins $5,000. 5 G's, everybody. My bookie is giving it away. If you trust your intuition, you can make a lot of money and you can have a lot of fun. Sign up at MyBookie today and get your deposit matched all the way up to $1,000. It is the easiest money you'll ever make in your entire life. All you got to do is claim the deposit bonus. All you got to do to claim the deposit bonus is use the promo code Bill Bert. Winning season is finally here, and it's only at mybookie.com.
Dude, I got to give a shout out. That's hilarious. They wanted me to read that. That's a great joke, whoever wrote that. I love Sundays almost as much as Brady used to love Sundays in New England. Ah, that's great. All right, Hawthorne.
Oh, I got my Hawthorne right here, Bill.
Let me see. I gotta go down to this. Oh, wow.
Look at this. You open it up. Really nice.
Wait a minute. Okay, let's see the unboxing. The kids love an unboxing.
And then you've got work and play.
Am I still reading here, Bert? All right. Do you wear Old Spice and girls think you smell like their dads? Yeah, you're going to meet the wrong kind of woman if she's attracted to that.
And when I got to 9th grade, Sean Hooker and Cayman Lazara turned me on to cologne for the first time. And I think it's when you first started getting into chicks. And my first colognes were Decor Noir and Obsession. And then I just am not a cologne guy because you go into the grocery, you go into the like Macy's, you go to the cologne and you just get overwhelmed. And you got to trust that the person that's helping you is the type of guy you want to smell like, or the type of woman that is helping you likes that type of guy. It's so confusing. That's why Hawthorne's great. I went online, I took their survey. It was very easy. It asked me, it was almost like taking a personality test a little bit.
I just love that somebody with the last name Hooker taught you about cologne.
Yeah. And they sent me this amazing box of cologne, right? Based on my personality, based on me. And I've got work and play, 2 different flavors. One's for, going to go to the store, a little work. Come home, a little play. You know what I mean, Bill?
Oh, dude, you put on your little high karate in there with your Jeep Grand Wagoneer.
They've also got deodorants.
The valley.
They've got deodorants, body wash, face cleanser. They've got lotion. It's awesome. It's so easy. You just go to hawthorne.com and you can hawthorne.co, and you can take the survey for yourself. Totally risk-free, free shipping, free returns, And if you don't like it, check out Hawthorne at hawthorne.co. That's Hawthorne with an E. HAWTHORNE.co. And use our promo code BillBert, and you get 10% off your purchase. It is 10% off your first purchase. Super easy. Go to Hawthorne, HAWTHORNE.co, and use our code BillBert, and you get 10% off your first purchase, and you're going to get a box of stuff that is catered to you just like I did.
Every comic knows he's one of the best who's ever done it.
Yeah.
Any era.
He held court. He held court one night right before the Trump election. He held court in the back of the Comedy Store with, I want to say, Rogan's. Everyone's in there. I mean, everyone was in there. And it was the hardest I've ever laughed. And he does things. I really think he does things to like troll you sometimes, like I think he pulled out a cigarette and Joe's like, Norm, do you smoke? And he goes, no, I've never tried. I'm going to try it though. Lights it. And and even like Adam's like, he doesn't smoke, but it's like he's doing it. Someone said about me, they're like, you're really silly. Or Leanne was saying, Bert, if you go somewhere with Bert, he's going to try to find something to make you laugh. And it's like the real comic spirit is like Norm Macdonald, who everything is a joke. Everything is a joke.
Yeah. Like
to the point where like when he made his apology on The View, he was eating mints. Do you remember that?
Oh, I didn't know.
He was eating mints. And he was just like, it's just such a, I really would pay my premium. I would pay whatever they pay on Netflix to just have a Nest Cam and watch him in his house interact. Like
you follow him on Twitter. He live tweets golf. I mean, everything is just him trolling people.
Really trolling people. Like Colin does that. Colin trolls people on Twitter.
Oh, Colin's had some of the great ones. I love when he did the thing about, he said some huge band. He goes, he said something like, Led Zeppelin's such a great band. it's a shame they never had any hits. And then like 1,000 people are like, what are you talking about? This is back when people would fall for that stuff. He had, after a while, you got to get a little more, disguise it a little more. But he was one of my, like early on, Colin Quinn and Norm Macdonald were two of my favorite people on Twitter, as far as like, they instantly were just like, this is the stupidest, most ridiculous way of communicating with people.
You want to hear a good Colin Quinn
They were sort of the anti-virtue signalers, or whatever you call them.
This is my favorite Colin Quinn story. And by the way, I barely know Colin. I've hung out with him a couple times, but before I first
I've known Colin for 20 years and I barely know him, so don't worry about
it. We're doing Trip Flip, my Travel Channel show, and we're in New York. And one of the kid there said, I've always wanted to do stand-up comedy. And we were like, okay, well, as opposed to me writing him an act, I had the brilliant idea that I'll give him an IFB, right? And I'll have Colin Quinn tell him jokes on stage. So Colin will tell him the joke, and then he'll say the joke. And so we're like, this is going to work perfect. Colin's in, I'm in, we're all there. And we said we should probably test out the IFB and see if it works. And we're like, okay, yeah, let's do like a dry run. So me and the kid go in the hallway at Gotham, and Colin is in the green room at Gotham, and he's got the microphone into the kid's ear. So Colin says, all right, say, I'm the audience, the kid's doing stand-up. So kid's got the microphone, and Colin goes, all right, say, how's everyone doing tonight? And he goes, how's everyone doing tonight? It's just me and him. And he goes, now look at Bert and go, wow, I guess we got a bunch of failed wrestlers in the audience. What's up with this guy? And he starts making fun of me, but the kid's hearing Colin make fun of me, and he's crying laughing. He can't repeat anything because Colin's destroying, and Colin's not stopping because he doesn't know the kid's laughing. So he's just tearing me apart, and the kid's like, go back to the first one. Go back to the first one. Colin comes out, and he goes, that worked good. And I go, it didn't work at all. The kid couldn't talk because you had him laughing so hard.
That's awesome.
Oh, yeah. Colin's fucking, it's so funny. I remember Tough Crowd as it reminds me of me spending time with Georgia as when she was a baby, because I would get on the road. I would DVR all Chappelle Show and all of Tough Crowd. So I would have Wednesday, Thursday, Friday locked and loaded for Monday morning or Tuesday morning when I was home with Georgia, or Monday morning. And I would sit with Georgia. I'd put her like, you ever put your baby in your lap like this? Like you cross your legs and the baby's butt goes right here and their head's right here.
I've never tried that. I'm more lay down on the couch, knees up, and I just let him sit on my legs like a recliner.
Oh, okay. That's smart. Yeah, I did that one.
No, I'm going to try your way.
It's great.
Check out the hip, too.
And then and I'd have a cup of coffee, and I'd watch Tough Crowd. And I would cry. I remember one time laughing so hard. And I can tell you the joke it was, because Georgia fell asleep in my lap. And so I couldn't laugh out loud. And the laugh made me start, because I didn't want to wake her up, I couldn't stop laughing. And it was Bobby Kelly saying to Colin says, yeah, something about Bobby being a Puerto Rican. And Bobby goes, I'm not Puerto Rican, Colin. Colin goes, I don't know. You should really check the mirrors in your house. And Colin and Bobby goes, Colin, I'm Irish. My name's Bobby Kelly. And Colin goes, yeah, you and Shaquille O'Neal. Fucking was, they had Bobby sitting on like a timeout chair or something. And I was doubled over.
Yeah, there was some great ones on there. There was when Patrice and Ralphie May were on.
Oh.
And Patrice was teasing Ralphie for being fat, which is just ridiculous in itself. Yeah. That was great. The classic Geraldo. It sucks, man. I just named 3 people and they're all gone now. Nick DiPaolo was amazing on that show.
Nick DiPaolo.
Keith Norton. I mean, those guys were on it almost like every day. So like the level of like, writing and all of that stuff. Well, Patrice used to wing it. I used to give him shit. Going, dude, I'm literally seeing you looking at your notes on TV. He goes, no, I'm not. I go, yeah, he had one dude who was fucking hilarious. He was sitting there like, they cut to him and he was like this. Just looking. It's like, dum-dum, you're on camera. Put it over the guy you're looking at's shoulder.
That show was so good. I'm so glad I was never on it, because it would have ruined the way, because I was way too young. I wouldn't have deserved to be on it. I'd been doing hadn't earned that spot. And if someone had asked me, I would have done it in a heartbeat. But I'm so glad I didn't, because I have nothing but like great memories. What are you showing us all these are the episodes. Nick DiPaolo, Greg Giraldo, Jim Norton, Keith Robinson. There's one with Giraldo, Norton, Sarah Silverman, Jerry Seinfeld. T-Sean Shannon, didn't he pass away? I don't know. I think he did. T-Sean Shannon, I remember that name. I don't quite remember him. From Houston. Him and his brother, I think, were comics, and I think they wrote on SNL. T-Sean Shannon. See, this is what happens to me on the internet is I go and I'm thinking I want to look on Tough Crowd, then I click on T-Sean Shannon, and I'm in a spiral on doing all the research on Houston comics. There's a great show. Ross Bennett, Nick DiPaolo, Todd Glass, Rich Francesi. I used to love Judy Gold was great on it. Paul Mooney, Dale Hughley, of course. Dude, he had everybody on. Jeff Foxworthy, Jamie Kennedy, Patton Oswalt, Todd Lynn, Patrice O'Neal, and Greg Giraldo. Hold on, stop scrolling. I think that entire show has passed away. Where's that one? I don't know. I don't want to do that. That's depressing. Oh my God, that's 3 out of 4. Andrew Maxwell, last one standing. Who's Andrew Maxwell? I don't know, but he's still alive, so good for him. Oh, let me see. Click on him. Yeah, click on him. Is an Irish comedian and narrator known as narrating the MTV reality series X on the Beach. Yeah, he's probably selling out Galway. There's a lot of funny fucking people. Oh yeah, no, there's Dave Chappelle, Nick DiPaolo, Greg Fitzsimmons. Crazy. No, it's really you know what that's like? You ever go back and you watch like those clips from those rock shows in Soul Trains, like some of the guests they had?
But with comedians, you had them all in the same time. Like there's like I always watch old Soul Trains and old like Midnight Special. You ever watch Midnight Special?
No.
It was something that was on in the 70s where it would be like came on at like I guess midnight. Obviously, Jesus, Bill, it'd come on at midnight, and there'd be a musical guest. I don't know what the whole show was, but like there's like ones with like Aerosmith, James Gang, all of those early 70s, mid 70s, influenced by the Stones, sort of the fallout of all of that, Zeppelin and all of that, Deep Purple. It was amazing. I mean, Zeppelin wasn't on. I'm saying that they were influenced by those guys.
Yeah. I was so influenced by Patrice, but never, no part of my act is like his at all. Like nothing of what I do is like his. I was so influenced by the way his, he had such a confidence in when the joke showed up, it was going to be worth it, that he would take his time with it.
Yeah.
I remember him saying, do you remember the Michael J. Fox joke he had? He goes, I saw Michael J. Fox on raising money for Parkinson's, and he's up there with Muhammad Ali trying to outshake the champ. And everyone's applauding him, saying, that's so great that you raised all this money. He goes, once. He goes, I find it to just be some disingenuous shit. And everyone's like, what the fuck? I mean, it was like, he took so long to get there. And then he goes, I mean, I just want one person in the audience to go, Michael, I think it's great that you're raising money for Parkinson's, but what about AIDS and cancer? Don't they deserve some money? And he goes, just once, I want to see Michael J. Fox go, yeah, see, the problem with AIDS and cancer is I don't got that shit. You see this shit? You see this shit right here? This ain't AIDS, bitch. Oh.
I remember seeing him working that out in Caroline's in front of a half-filled room. Yeah, and because he describes Parkinson's, and everybody loves Michael J. Fox and Muhammad Ali, so it was so brutally uncomfortable. But that was part of the setup. That was part of the misdirection. Yeah.
You guys want to scroll through the Bill Bert hashtag?
Oh yeah. Let's see. I'll tell you what happened to me, Bill, is you got me into looking at cars, and I think I sent it to you. I found a website that did 1991 is the height of the Jeep wagon, the Grand Wagoneer. That's the car I want. That's the car I love. 1991 is the car.
You flew commercial, so you still got money. Look at that, dude. That's 30 fucking grand you can throw to that Wagoneer. I want to live through you.
So
buy it.
So I start looking at them, and then I think now I'm weighing it. I'm looking at Icon is what Joe has. Joe has the Icon Bronco, and that guy takes it and really upgrades it. These other places simply refurbish them and get them up and running, but it's all technology that's no airbags or anything. And I start talking to my wife. I'm like, I want to get one of these. She's like, yeah, but if you drive it, like if that's your car and you get into a wreck, you're fucking dead. Like that's why we stopped making those cars, was the steering column went through your chest. Like,
No. That was like in the 1950s. Yeah, and you basically the whole car went like an accordion. You squeezed out like toothpaste at the end of the tube. That's what happened back then. And then they just kept making more and more. They've made them so safe. I learned this on that Seinfeld's Comedians in Cars, because I was like, why can't they make them all unique designs? And he basically said because they're creating in such a narrow corridor now of safety that there's only so many different designs you can have. Because like when they redid the Lincoln Continental to debut it, when they showed it, it had the suicide doors again. And I was like, I want to get that car. That's fucking sick.
Yeah.
It's going back to the one that they made from 60 to 67 to 68. And they never made it. I was like, when I asked the guy who built my truck why they didn't make it, he said it doesn't pass the safeties. There's something about if it opens up like that, the middle of the car, the frame is compromised. Yeah. Where if you got T-boned or something, I don't know what, or something, something bad would happen. So look, there's little things you can do. So what you should do then is we talked about this, the resto mod. which is what I think kind of what Joe did with the Bronco. So it looks like a late 60s, early 70s Bronco, but underneath it's, 2019, 2020, whenever he got it.
Yeah. And so I found a few people that are doing them. I'm carless right now. I can't.
You're gonna buy this thing, aren't you? Please tell me you're gonna buy it. Please.
Yeah, I'm buying it.
Please.
I'm buying it. I don't want to. There's no car I want that. There's nothing I want. You're right. Everything kind of looks alike. And
No, it does. I can't tell the difference between like a Honda, a Toyota, and blah blah blah. And then you have the higher end, the BMW, the Mercedes, and blah blah. They have such iconic logos though on the cars, so the Mercedes one is really prominent. But like a lot of them, when I look at them from the side, I can't tell. It's like, is that you got to be like a total fiend from. I think maybe because I'm not in my teens and 20s, where you got all that time to sit there and look at them. But like a lot of the shit does look alike.
The Hyundai Genesis, I think, is an amazing fucking car. It looks exactly like the Mercedes. It's nicer inside, but like. So why would you buy the Mercedes when you get a Hyundai Genesis and then someone's like, well, you're driving a fucking Hyundai. And I'm like, yeah, but I don't know. All the SUVs look alike. All the mid-sized SUVs, all the sedans look alike.
That's why the Bronco's exciting. The new Bronco coming back because it just looks different.
Yeah. I don't know why. I don't know why they don't do more of that shit. Like start bringing back these old iconic.
They're going to do it. They're going to do it because stuff like that always seems to sell. How successful the Challenger is, the way they did it with the Mustang, then they did it with the Camaro. Cobra Kai is killing it.
I downloaded all the Cobra Kai on my phone to watch on the flight last night and then fell asleep.
Oh, you didn't watch it yet?
I didn't. I
just finished the second season, so I heard there's a third. Oh, we had Brett Ernst on.
I brought it up on set, and Rosario Dawson lost her shit. She's like, it is fucking amazing. And I was like, really? And I go, I was just talking to Bill about this. Snoop's like, I got to watch Cobra Kai. I mean, I love when something goes like that. Like, people start sharing cool shit. Like, have you watched Umbrella Academy?
No.
Oh, my daughter got me into it. I fucking love it.
And that's something just because of the name. I would be like, that sounds like some nerd sci-fi shit.
Joe's cousin wrote it. Isn't that crazy?
Whose?
Joe's.
Rogan's?
Yeah, his cousin fucking wrote it.
It's a talented.
It's amazing when you know what is amazing is talented families. Like you look at Whitney Houston, mother Sissy Houston, cousins Dionne Warwick, and you look at all the talent in that family. Snoop is his cousin. First cousins are Ray J, Monica, the singer. Like, she was Monisha back in the day.
Moesha.
Moesha,
not Monisha.
Isn't it Brandy? Didn't Brandy play?
Is it Brandy? Like, he's related to some really talented people. And then Joe's cousin is the lead singer of My Chemical Romance, writes.
I'll tell you the most talented family ever.
Who?
The Osmonds.
No. Jackson.
What are you talking about? There was more Osmonds than there were Jacksons.
No.
Wasn't there? I don't know.
Can you imagine being?
I do, though. I do have tremendous respect for the Osmonds because they take a lot of shit. Because they were really more clean cut, milk toast kind of fucking thing. But they have been like I wanted to see Donnie Marie's last show when they were out in Vegas. Like I gotta go see that. I
would like to see Donnie Marie.
Yeah,
so, Andrew, find out the most.
They were at the Flamingo, which is the coolest place, I think.
I'd be interested in the most talented family bloodline, meaning cousins. Like the fact that and Joe doesn't even know this cousin. He's like, yeah, I know we're related. I just don't know him. But he's the lead singer.
There's a lot like the Wayans family.
Wayans.
They like Dr. Dre was like, was it his cousin or his stepbrother was Warren G?
No, that's Snoop. No, his stepbrother.
His stepbrother was Warren
G. It's crazy.
I'll tell you what fucking freaks me out is like when you look in the Rolling Stones and it's like, yeah, Mick and Keith went to school together. It's just like, what are the fucking odds of that? Like, I get when a band is like all from the same city. But like this, I mean, I can't think of anyone on the top of my head, but there's like literally bands where what was that band? Incubus. Like I think they all went to the same high school. I remember one of the time they were talking about it, and I guess they got bullied a little bit when they were in high school. So they were all going like, "Yeah, hey, look at us now, blah blah blah," just fucking around. And I was just like, how crazy that is. That like, you know, I could see one or two people maybe went to the same school, but to find that level of talent, usually you have to scour all of Southern California to find the right person. The fact that I might be wrong here, but essentially 3/4 of the whole band was like in your English class, or your history class. The lead singer, the drummer sat over there, the bass player, and fucking whatever else they got in the band.
It used to bum me out when I found out Eddie Vedder wasn't from Seattle. Like it bummed me out that I was like, wait, he grew up in San Diego or something, and then like moved there and joined the band. And I remember being like, so he's not like from Seattle. He's like from Los Angeles. Like that doesn't seem like he's grungy enough. I remember
he didn't have any flannels before he got there with that great San Diego weather.
He didn't, because I remember thinking that the feeling of grunge was kids that were in their house because it was raining all day, and that was the energy of grunge was that. And then I was like, wait, he surfs?
I think it was ridiculously, as always, marketed. The whole Seattle thing, the whole Seattle vibe, that whole dress, all of it was just marketed. I remember when that shit hit by like 94, you could go to the Gap and buy what Eddie Vedder wore in like even flow. You could get the flannel with like the distressed jean shorts and then the fucking
with the combat boots.
Yeah. Yeah.
I rock that look a lot, Bill. I get it from J. Crew.
Yeah, I was always mall grunge. I was more of a metal guy, but even when I did like the metal thing, like I never, dude, if I had brown or black hair and my shit grew down rather than out, I would have had long hair and I would have looked like a burnout, but I just didn't have that. So I would just go to these fucking concerts. I mean, and people be looking at them like, what is that fucking mathlete doing here? And I would be like, no, I'm doing worse in school than you guys are. My hair was I was born in the wrong decade. Like I should have been this age in the 70s. Then I would be out here with my big orange afro going nuts here.
Dude, did I tell you about the time? I hope this doesn't go to fucking bite me in the ass. By the way, I had to tell Snoop that I smoked his joint like a cigar. I was like, he's going to hear it. And I told him, I was like, yeah, man, I was running my bit about smoking his joint by myself to him to make sure there was we were clean. So,
what did he say?
He was like, yeah, you shouldn't smoke that whole thing by yourself. He's like, you got to take your time with it. Don't fucking be inhaling the whole thing.
Yeah, but you know what's funny about that, dude, is this whole thing comes full circle because we were talking about people that don't know how to smoke cigars.
Yeah.
And you're literally that guy with blunts.
Literally that guy. I was saying one time, oh man, this is a good story, but it's so I'm just going to tell it. It's a good story. So, I was in Madison, Wisconsin. I'm not going to tell it. It's a bad idea. I'm going
to pull up those hashtags so you guys can go through.
Yeah, pull up the hashtags.
Let's do the hashtags and let's we'll wrap it up here.
Yeah, wrap it up. Go see some football. Ooh, what's this?
This is from Kathleen Buckley.
Now that I'm not
married, and that's the
new Tesla.
How can somebody even sit in that thing? It just looks like your head would be crushed.
Yeah, but you know what, Bill, I'm a hypocrite because I look at that car and I look at that Tesla and I go, what the fuck? And then I'm sitting here going, how come no one's making new body lines? And Elon Musk is doing it, and here I am shitting on him.
Dude, that's the Dukes of Hazzard, 1969 Challenger, I believe. Third day owning this beast. There were tears, but we stayed married, and I got it done, boys. She's a keeper. Good for you, Aaron. If I wasn't married, what is that, a hydroplane? Yeah. Fan boat?
Oh, I'd love one of those. Oh, now you got me. This is exactly what I started doing. I started looking at motorcycles. Fuck. I started following a bunch of motorcycles.
What is that?
That is, it looks like a Fat Boy Low. The
guy's cool. A lot of cool women out there, though. The guy says, I honestly get to do a lot of cool shit, but I don't own one of these. What to get if you're not married? That's a 59 Cadillac. Four-door. That was the highest. I love like the tail fins in the Cadillac gradually come down through the early 60s. They gradually got higher through the 50s and they peaked in 59. When I was married, there was none of this. Those are the V drums, maybe? What is it, electronic drum kit?
Yeah.
That's fucking cool as shit.
Oh, my God. Fucking put me on one of these. This is a houseboat, but it's a cool, almost like 50s style houseboat, but very open with glass everywhere. That is, I would live in that fucking thing and solve mysteries by night.
And pay no taxes because you're on the water.
Ain't no taxes, start a religion. Look at that.
I'm not married, but okay, what do we got here? See, those are more modern cars.
Looks like a Mazda RX-7.
That's what I was going to guess there. Is that the other one an Acura?
Yeah, it looks like it.
That's cool. And I like that this person likes those era cars. Dude, what are the Polaris Slingshot? What is that thing classified as? I don't get how you don't have to wear a fucking helmet in that thing. You're just driving down the street. It looks like you could just leg sweep the back and the guy would just roll down the hill.
Schaub had
Polaris
one of
makes
those.
snowmobiles. Polaris makes snowmobiles and jet skis.
Brendan,
I think those things are cool as shit.
My buddy convinced me. We were talking about buying a boat, and he was like, "What if we just got two badass jet skis, right? And you could we could go out. You can take it out. You can take a jet ski out to Catalina. You can fish on it. You can dive off it like spearfish. You don't need a boat. And then there's this guy I follow, Brody. I think his name is Brody Moses in Australia, and all he has a boat too, but he is primarily on his jet ski. He just takes his jet ski everywhere. I'm like, fucking jet skis make sense. I wish we had a jet ski sponsor. I would love a wave runner, like a big-bodied wave runner.
Hey, look at that. There's a nice Impala. That guy before, he said, if I wasn't divorced or something, if I was still married, I wouldn't own this. Look at that. He's got the Challenger, what's that, Yellow Jacket.
Oh, that is a fucking hot. Man, what is it about cars? I was watching this documentary on Ryan Dunn, and they when he started getting money, he just started buying cars and redoing cars. I need a fucking motorcycle.
There's another Harley.
Fucking motorcycle.
Well, get out of LA, dude, because I like doing this podcast with you. I don't want you to die. LA's a scary place to ride one. Oh, look at that.
Oh my God.
I have a kit, but is that a DW? Look at that thing. That's like literally a Neil Peart, except it probably has a double pedal on it. Oh,
look at this guy.
I love a full-size Bronco. This guy's great.
This guy's got everything. He's got the guitar, the Bronco, the bar that's a piano.
That looks like, what is that? Is that a Gibson Les Paul? What is that? That's a 79 Bronco, 78 or 79 Bronco. Oh, that's one of the, what's one of those ones?
It's a Gibson ES, I think.
The ES, yeah. With the F cuts, hollow body. What else has he got here? Click onto the other stuff that he wanted. Oh, piano bar, and then he's got people liking the Fat Boy, huh?
Yeah, dude. Harley just fucking. That's a good looking bike. I drove one just like that in it when I was in Macon for the show I did. I just had to drive it into set and then drive it around to filmed it. And man, I punched it one time just to feel and that energy when you fucking gun a bike like that, the torque between just pulling you through space is fucking amazing.
Yeah, I think that's a 335, that Gibson.
All right. What does this guy have? If I was divorced,
he's got a convertible.
What is that?
It's a van. It's a van that he's living in.
People are converting Sprinters into livable vans. They're very unassuming. They park them along the ocean a lot. You see them in Malibu a lot.
That's exactly what you need, Bill. One of those. Put the whole family in. I would never get a trike. I like a trike. A trike is like a lifer motorcycle guy, and then he's just sort of retired and just like, cool, man. Okay, that's like a 78 Z28 and a CJ7. Great taste. I like that person. If I wasn't married, the first thing I'm buying is a TV for the toilet. Oh, fuck that. A flight simulator? Bill, look at this.
No, but you know what that is? That's the fucking helicopter one. And that's why it's so expensive, because you got to have the whole wraparound thing. Send me that thing. What is that? How much is that?
Doesn't say. We'll look it up.
Oh my God. I just want to send that to my instructor. Fuck, that is sick.
I'll send it to you after.
Dude, I'm not going. I'm going the real. Dude, I'm so addicted to flying now that
All right, here's a question for you, Bill. Okay, so
that treehouse is great. Oh, look at that Fender custom shop precision bass.
Yeah, P bass.
So the
Come
house.
on, man. His wife can't let him have that. How much do you think that is? $1,200?
All right, here's the question, Bill.
Maybe.
We're the house that we're moving into. Or
Wait, slow down. I want to read one more guy. Listen, look at that. Well, go back up. Go back up to the guy with the wood fire.
The wood fire. What was that one?
He goes, if I wasn't married, I'd have some kind of wood fire pizza oven.
You can't make wood. You can't have wood fire pizza ovens in California anymore.
Yeah, well, that makes sense. I would on my patio and a motorcycle. All right. If I wasn't married, he'd say I'd have a perfect credit score.
Justin Wigtion.
Oh, poor guy.
Read this story. Read this. This is a good one.
My mom bought me this car brand new in 1969.
No, my mom bought this car. She bought the car.
What?
She bought the car for herself. He didn't, not for him.
Oh, sorry. My mom bought this car brand new in 1969. Sat in their garage my entire life. Wasn't allowed to keep it in my garage when I was married, so it was sold. One divorce later, I tracked it down in Canada. Bought it for way too much, but it's mine. Good for you.
That is, I drove a car like that, convertible though, just recently. The high beams, Bill, are on the floor.
What is it, a Dodge Dart? What is it, Duster? What is it?
I don't know. Whoa, look at that. You're scrolling too fast.
Go back
You're
to
like fucking killing me, Andrew.
Sorry.
Go back to the humidor.
Sorry. I thought you guys were trying to wrap it up.
Look at that.
Walk-in humidor. Look at that thing. Woo!
Golly.
What's my favorite cigar? Right now, my favorite cigar has been my favorite cigar for a while. It's the Aurora Sapphire. Comes in the blue tube. All right, what is this? If I'm not married, he owns like 1,000 dirt bikes.
God. Looks like Chappelle's garage. Right, Bill? Am I right, Bill?
If I wasn't married, Bill Bert. Cocaine and hookers, my friend. All right, what else? Oh, boy.
Midgets.
Escort GT, somebody said.
A lot of people would buy these. Oh, a real-life sex doll.
Why don't you just walk up to a chick with big tits and a fat ass? Well, because then she won't let you. Yeah, it'll be a rough time. She'll spend all your money. If I wasn't married, I'd build my own wine cellar and never emerge.
Ooh.
That's awesome. I respect winos. If I wasn't married, so much dry ice. I don't even know what that means. Let's do a couple more and then we'll wrap it up. Oh, is that the Ducati? What is that?
Yeah, Ducati Course.
Look at the slicks on that thing. I don't even know what that means. That just looks cool. God. I love a Ducati. I'm a fucking lunatic, dude. I love everything from Italian motorcycles to Harleys. I would have a Ducati, and I would have the Harley. What do they call it? The Custom. What's the one that's the Road King with no bags? I would have that with the white wall tires.
I could get into a deep dive on motorcycles. I
love that Harley that was called like the 72 or something. It had the metal fleck with the Fonzie front wheel.
Pull it up, Andrew. See if you can find the Harley 72 is a beautiful bike. That and the 42.
42, I actually rode that one. It was the 48, wasn't it?
48. Yeah, 48. Oh, that's a good. The fucking first one.
Yeah, first one.
With the paint.
That is such a good-looking bike. That's what bike. I love the short tail on the back too, huh?
Yeah, that is a good-looking fucking bike.
I got to admit, my age, I need more comfortable seat. Although that seat really looks cool on that bike. Oh, dude, I didn't tell you this shit. I was fucking. My shoulder's been doing great. I guess you got 3 rotator cuffs. I fucked this one up in the back. I was getting a COVID test. Because I was shooting something for this kid Tyler Falbo he's making this great show for All Things Comedy to be on Quibi. So I went there. I was in the Valley to get this COVID test so I could go down and shoot. And I got in the car, and all of a sudden I looked in the back, and there was a guy behind me. I was in a parking lot. I think he rode in on his motorcycle, stopped short, because I think this guy in the Porsche convertible had stopped short, and he didn't get his foot down, or it just got too far, and the bike went down. And without thinking, I went out to help him pick it up, and I fucked up my back again, the back one. But it's better now. I iced it and stuff. But what I loved was the guy in the Porsche convertible never got out. And I so wanted to be like, that's how you got that car, buddy. Because I looked at the back of his car, nothing happened. Nothing happened to his car, so he didn't hit it. So I think that kid came in a little hot.
Yeah.
He got up on his front wheel, came down, and then just went over. But I actually respected that he didn't get out of the car. It was so I was in the valley in LA, and there was a guy with shades on in a Porsche convertible looking back like that, like, just looking back, no concern. His concern was I took the time to not drive away and look over my shoulder. And I'm out there like, hey, trying to get this fucking thing back up again. It's a nice Honda. So it looks like the Marc Marquez one, whatever style that is.
All right. I have a question for you, and then we'll wrap this up.
Okay.
All right. So we bought a house a while back, and we were going to redo it. We've been going back and forth, but we're redoing it now. We're redoing it. We had the opportunity. This house was built in like the 50s, and it still has a diving board in the pool.
Keep it.
Keep it?
I don't get, you can't have a deep end anymore, and you can't have a diving board.
So if we keep the pool the way it is and redo it, we can keep a 12-foot deep end with a diving board. Do you do it, or do you get rid of it?
You absolutely keep it. And who's going to know if you ever take the diving board out?
If you have a diving board, you can keep a diving board. So you can't.
There's probably a reason why they pay people.
Oh, insurance, I think, is a fucking nightmare.
Well, there's a lot of like head and neck paralysis shit with that. You got to really be careful. But if you got a 12-foot deep end, I mean, that was a very responsible person. All right, you can have a diving board, see, but it's going to be 12 feet deep.
This is my first cigar in a while. Well, I had a couple down in Macon. This has been good. This is a good podcast, man.
Yeah, I didn't have a problem with it till you just said that.
No, we got to have
podcast. And I was like, well, the other one's bad.
No, this was this is a good one. I want to talk. We got to get Mike Binder on.
Oh, absolutely. Oh, yeah, because the Comedy Store documentary is coming out. We definitely have to get him on. Look for him, the next Bill Bert. We should have him on.
We should have him on, talk about the podcast. I'll have another cigar. I'm locked in. I'm not going anywhere.
I'll have a million of them. All right, everybody, thank you so much for watching. This has been another wonderful episode of the Bill
Bert
Podcast. We'll see you later. Keep those things, those hashtags if I wasn't married. Ladies, we want to hear from you too. What would you get?